Hey, greetings, friends. Jacque Howard here, and welcome to Trenton365. And this episode's going to be a bit of a twist. Now, settle yourself in, make sure you get a writing utensil and a piece of paper, because in this short segment, we're going to provide you with a lot of information. Now, this information may be controversial to some people, but that controversy is just in your mind, it's just in the atmosphere. What I'm about and what all the people I'm bringing to you are about is building a better community for everyone in an equitable way and providing opportunities for other people to educate themselves and to get better to know about what is really happening from real world experiences. So with that being said, this segment is called Trenton Cannabis Community. Now, the Trenton cannabis community was established many, many years ago with the intent of providing a safe space for people to come together, share information, earn information, gather information, but also connect to professionals in the industry. And those professionals include people who are involved in the business of all aspects of the processing, growing, distribution of cannabis, but also industrial hemp and CBD, my apologies. And also bringing together local law enforcement, municipalities, government agencies, national figures, so that this region can help to establish its foothold in being Trenton makes and the world takes. So with that being said, Trenton Cannabis Community is often looking for opportunities to speak to professionals, and one of those I'm bringing on to you now. Now, Matthew Bruce, he's been around for a while. We're going to let him do his introduction and share a bit about who he is, but I've asked him to make sure that he explains from his perspective the THC and the CBD, because there's a lot of folks who got this all mixed up. When they hear cannabis or marijuana, they think, oh, you're just going to get high and it's going to be all this stuff. No, there's a lot more to it than that. With that being said, Matthew Bruce, nice to see you again, friend. I want to tell you, as I was combing through, doing my homework and combing through what you have on the internet, I want to say blessings to you, man. Thank you for being diligent. Thank you for being progressive in trying to get this information out, and then for establishing your business. So with that being said, let's do an introduction. Who is Matthew Bruce, founder, CEO of Herbal Vybz? And then how did this plant that we call the healing of the nation, the king of the forest, come to be in your life?
Nice to be on this platform, Jacque. Thank you so much for the intro. So allow me to reintroduce myself. Matthew Bruce, CEO and founder of Herbal Vybz. I actually have two companies with similar names, Herbal Vybz 1Z and Herbal Vybz Double Z. So Double Z was the original company. I started growing hemp in 2020. I was one of the first to be licensed in New Jersey. And from that point, that was when I turned a farmer overnight. So I had to figure out how to understand the farm life, understand planting, understand dirt. I took a passion of smoking weed, and I turned it into science. I turned it into understanding biology. And I went to the ground and I took a seed and I put it in the ground and I observed it and watched it grow. So now in 2020, that was the hemp plant. I had CBD, I had CBG, and then so yeah, there were different strains of CBD and different strains of CBD in 2020. So it was a bit of an experiment. It was over 3,000 plants in 2 locations. And as a collective, my organization did research and development. And this was the starting of something to me that I will classify as greatness. From 2020 moving forward, I definitely experienced some roadblocks between the state and between other humans, I want to say. And I had to work through that situation. I usually am triumphant. So once I put words to paper, I am successful, whether if it's the state or another human. So moving past 2021, 2022, we had to move a few locations, move to a different farm here and there, but we're still doing research and development. So fast forward to 2022, I believe, ending of 2022, 2023, the cannabis license came about. And so now we are focusing on CBD, CBG, and also THC. This is also where we will transition into industrial hemp, I should classify it as, where we not only are focusing on the medicinal aspects of hemp, but we're focusing on the industrial and commercial side of hemp, separate from focusing on your body or focusing on any type of editables or anything of that nature, more so into the hempcrete and this aspect of the hemp plant. So I started initiatives on that aspect around the same time cannabis came about, because I foresaw people leaving hemp behind, and people flocking to cannabis. So I stuck my foot in the ground on the farm and made sure that I will continue the research and development, as well as focusing on cultivating THC. Now, I also became a consultant in the cannabis arena, because through all of this process, I did my own application for my cultivation license, and I realized that people were out here freaking out, and lawyers were charging thousands and thousands of dollars to get an application put through. So I put my process together. I became a consultant, and I was able to collect a good handful of dispensaries, good handful of other cultivators, a handful of other manufacturers that needed assistance. We got the necessary detail and we submitted their applications. 100% of all of those applications have been approved on the conditional side with the CRC. And they're moving forward. Dispensaries are working on opening, manufacturing is working on opening, and cultivation is working on opening, including myself. So now we're at the point where we have this big internal ecosystem. We have cultivators, we have manufacturers, we have dispensaries within a personal network. And the purpose of me doing this was to, one, help other people, my own people, it doesn't matter, but create an environment where we can study. I can take you to a hemp farm. You can see a plant. You can study the cousin of the cannabis plant, and have a foundation before you jump into THC. Because when we get into THC, this is going to be about education. This is going to be about how can you help someone. There will be people that want to get high, and we understand that and we do respect that. But from my perspective, I want to have education to be able to give you the right thing. I don't want to give you the wrong thing. I want you to be able to fix a problem. And then if I identify that there is an addiction, we can actually reduce THC and increase CBD or increase CBG or CBN. There's hundreds and thousands of cannabinoids that we can use to mix and create something that can help you rather than harm you. So that last sentence is what I instill in all of the people within my network, whether if you're on the cultivation side, dispensary, or manufacturer. And we are separating ourselves from the norm because we are educating ourselves so that we can then educate the customer. This is how I speak when I'm in council meetings and I'm presenting to the township, because the township is clueless and they only understand pot and weed and marijuana. not realizing that those terms aren't the proper terms according to the state. So when we talk about these things, we talk about it according to the proper term definition that the state has played out, so we can speak their language and then get their license and conduct in their business. So that was a pretty quick run through of the past 4 years. I can't believe I'm saying 4 years. It's time is flying. But I'm so glad that I was able to get the experience starting from hemp, because that put me in the arena. I would be attending these meetings and I would be able to show pictures and beautiful video of beautiful hemp plants. And they're like, wow, you're already in you're already in it. You're already doing it. And I'm like, yeah, God blessed me with this opportunity. So now I have kind of a foundation I've built on. And now I'm just trying to continue elevating and continue to build this empire. So with that being said, Jacque, I hope I provided a great an understanding of the past 4 years, and I'll pass it back to you.
Man, right on, Matthew. Now, you've done a fantastic job with that. And I know that something that we've talked about in the past is making sure that we're always educating and providing the right information to folks. And that includes making sure that they're using proper terminology. When we do a deep dive on some of the words that we use just as a culture, and we start peeling that back, we start realizing that there's a lot of underlying things involved in that. Like when we look at the word marijuana, the changing of the spelling of it, why it was done, and the racist intent that was behind that. And then, knowing that, okay, there's the scientific terminology for cannabis, indica, sativa, etc. And then there's the state terminology. Like you said, they're saying words like, medical marijuana or cannabis or this, but not necessarily knowing the full background or the extent of the biology behind the plants, all the different terpenes and the different profiles and things that we have access to in a research and development laboratory farm space like what you have to create natural medicine for people that can be specific to what they need. So you don't have to consume something that's going to help with muscular pain, but then have a psychotropic portion to it. We can get to the point where you can say, no, I need something that's just pain relieving without anything else. And thank you for putting that together. Matthew Bruce, founder, CEO of Herbal Vybz on all kinds of social media platforms, but you're going to be coming back on a regular basis because our relationship is going to grow. Now, before I want to get back to something else with you, because I want to make sure that you get an opportunity to talk about where you are right now and how more people who are curious about this onboarding, about this industry that's coming, future jobs, new technology, ancillary business opportunities, all these different things. Can you just touch briefly on them? Because I really want people to get in touch with it.
Sure, that's an awesome question, because I've actually been putting a lot of soul and energy into this, and I can see the direction it's going, which is the part of the question that you've been asking, employment. Okay, so through the process, in attending one of those previous meetings I referenced to, I was able to connect with Stockton University. Stockton University is an awesome entity. They have Professor Mejia. He has put me in touch with so many people, so many different programs. I now have an MOU with the university to be able to officially get interns involved in my operation. So every year I try to get interns and I give them this experience. The experience that they get is going to be different from anything that they'll ever experience in their life. We will have the experience of planting a hemp seed from start to finish, from seed to harvest. We're also going to understand the importance of meditation. We're going to understand the importance of knowing who you are, finding yourself, being able to identify these things before you go out into the real world. I've had the pleasure of being able to meet some cool gentlemen that I've been able to mentor and guide and help push them into the direction of their choice. So that's a foundation that I'm laying out, and hopefully I can continue building on. Now, as far as the cannabis side, I will mention that my conditional license did expire, but through the conversation with the CRC, I understand the full aspect and the timeline of what is to come. So the conditional license really, I'm gonna admit this, it really doesn't matter, because you can't do anything. You can't produce any cannabis. You can't, you can get bank accounts and things like that, but it's like half of the real license. So when it expires, it doesn't really matter. You still have to continue moving forward. You still have to get your municipal location approval. You have to get your location. You have to go through that process. And then when you're ready to submit for your annual cannabis license, you then have to submit an annual, either a conversion if you have a conditional license, or you're applying for the annual license directly. So in some sense, the conditional license is kind of a money grab from the state. It kind of gives you an understanding, if you don't have that understanding, of how to get the annual license. So you have two directions. You can go the conditional license route, or you can not do any of that, don't have to pay any of those fees, and just get your location, prepare your location on the municipality side, and then go to the CRC for your annual license. So they're two different distinct routes. Both of them result to the same end goal, which is to get a cannabis license and to become successful. So I'm in that process. I have a location. I have a facility that I've leased, and I'm working on the ins and outs with the municipality to make sure that we get this location approved. Once this location is approved, I'll submit my annual license. And then, as you mentioned, I have the understanding to provide employment to local people within the township, within Warren County. I'm also highly connected in Jersey City and a few other states, Atlantic City, throughout New Jersey, because those are other locations where those dispensaries I mentioned to you are going to open. So they are also going through their process, about to get the annual license, having their license approved and the municipality ordinances approved. So there's tons of employment opportunity in this arena that I'm directly connected to. So I'm looking forward to creating a massive empire and passing it on to others.
Oh man.
Back to you, Jacque.
Well, listen, that was a perfect ending to this. Matthew Bruce, Herbal Vybz. I can't wait to sit down and talk to you more, go into more extensive conversations, to visit your farm and your locations, and to get to develop our relationship better, because that's what we know is how we build a better community, when we're in relationship with other human beings. I appreciate you, and I thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you as well, man.
You're welcome. And there you have it, folks. Just another opportunity for you to get a chance to meet these amazing human beings that are in my life, who have skill sets and abilities that I don't have, that I admire. But because I'm in a position where I can connect them to others, that is where I settle into my spirit. As a connector, I want to build a better community by bringing like-minded people together so that we can realize that in the bigger picture, all of us play a role. Like every portion of a body, the cells, the bones, the ligaments, the muscles, all have to work together with proper training, with proper nutrition, with the basics: food, water, shelter, and love. Trenton365, Trenton Cannabis Community. Remember, friends, it's always about justice, peace, and humility.